You're watching this because you're interested in business startup. I'm taping this because it's an important point in the startup of my business, a business that I own with Callum Makkai, who's in Toronto, and I just received today, June 5, 2013, samples of fabric that we are developing for the best ski sweater ever made. Now, Jane Shand of New Zealand, who is an expert in wool fibers, has developed some wool fibers for us on the speculation that perhaps Callum and I will be able to develop market for sweaters made thereof. So the first thing I did when I received the package today, Jane, I'm sorry I haven't read your letter yet. I tore open the package, I got out my, what is this thing called? A microscope. I got out the microscope and I checked out the samples of what she's made for us out of her undyed wool from sheep in New Zealand. And of all these, as I went through them, I looked at them, I like the 4 ends 8 ply. Now what we've done is you've probably seen Icebreaker and other companies that have gotten the microns, the spin and twist so thin on wool, merino wool, that the stuff is down to lingerie grade fabric. It's a fantastic material. Well, but I want the best ski sweater ever made. And inspired by Jim Dimitri from the 50s and 60s and his ski sweaters, I wanted the warmth, the stiffness, the styling, that kind of thing, which is gone. Nobody's doing it now. So, again, inspired by Jim Dimitri of Dimitri Sweaters, who's still out there designing things, decided to start at the beginning. Start with the sheep. I wanted undye, wanted natural dye. Didn't want all the processing of the wool. Wool's a fantastic material. You can study up elsewhere on this blog or wherever else on the faculties, the benefits of wool. But we decided that we would go with that super warm, all the benefits of the 17, 19, 19 to 20, 21 micron wool, spun into the thin. There's plenty of benefits there. But that's too light for a sweater. But what if you took that same stuff, you went the same direction everybody's going with advances in machinery and things machines can do. What if you continued that way, got down to say 20 microns, they're down at 16 and smaller actually on spinning as far as wool goes. But you got down to that super fine yarn, and then you were to spin those yarns together in cable and go back out. What would you end up with? Well, Jane's given me samples here. There's more over there. Jane's given me, let's see here, 1 end 2 plies. That's pretty fine stuff. Again, that's almost, as I said, lingerie grade. Long john grade stuff, really nice stuff. 2 ends 4 ply, 3 ends 6 ply, and 4 ends 8 ply. Now, this 4 ends 8 ply, 14 gauge, this comes from Knitter One. Knitter One, we love you. We love all the knitters. This is getting into sweater grade finally. So I'm wondering if we need 8 ends 16 ply. But that might be too heavy. This stuff is so warm, it might feel 3/4 of the way of a standard sweater, but it might be extremely hot in actual use. So that's what we're kind of balancing here, is to get it right. So that is those samples that we're working with. I'll be sending these on to Callum next for his review. Then what Jane also did is tension swat. 2 ends 14 gauge, looser tension on this end. Okay, so what they did is they set up the tension on 2 ends 14 gauge fabric and changed it. I guess what we got here is 1, 2, 3, 5 changes, 5 tension settings. And sure enough, This is the looser tension, and this is the tighter tension, and you can actually see it, and you certainly can see it under the microscope because man, it's well, I can see through it. This end on the microscope, and this end is obviously much tighter. The other thing is you can sure see the cabling. I can get up here to, oh, this is 4 and 20 is 80. Is that what I got here? 10 and 4, that's 40, and I've got 10 and whatever this is, 10 and 10, so that's 100 markups, and this is a nice, what is this? This is 48, so that'd be 480. Problem with that 480 is it's no, I can't even get to the surface. At 40, I'm seeing the scales on the individual strands of hair, and that is the cuticles. That's huge. So the other thing, I came outside to get more light than the microscope gives me. I'd have to go to the sun, and I don't want to take sunlight through there up into my eyeball. Don't do this at home. Be under the supervision of an expert if you're ever using a microscope outside. So anyway, so there's another aspect of a sweater manufacturing is what is the tension, what tension they set on the looms. So there's another thing you have to specify when you're doing a sweater. So here we got I lined these up. So what I got is 3, 4, 5. So this one is 2 ends, 4 ply, 14 gauge. Beautiful stuff. Really nice. It's soft. It's yeah, nicely done. Nicely done. All natural, no dye, which means you get more of. The more you process wool, the less the more the benefits go away. So of all these, 2 ends 14 gauge, 5 ends 7 gauge. So we got kind of a reverse going here. 3 ends 7 gauge, 4 ends 7 gauge, and then there's 5, 8, 5. Now this just feels like just about any other sweater. So let's take a look at it and see what we get. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. So that thing of the tiny super fine lingerie grade strand, taking a bunch of those and cabling them together is creating an amazing fabric, a wonderful fabric for ski sweaters. And we'll be the only one that has it because we started at the beginning. It'll be a ski sweater like any other. It'll feel and pretty much look like any other. It'll be a little bit lighter but warmer. A little bit lighter but warmer. Then it's going to be natural wool. We're not dyeing it, we're not processing it anyway, so that it cleans nicer. It's the twist and everything is there's going to be no pilling. This is going to be an expensive sweater, but it's actually going to be the cheapest sweater you ever bought, even though it ends up, I don't know what the price is going to be, but it's going to be north of $500 a sweater. It's going to be cheap because it's going to last longer, it's going to perform better, it's going to keep you warmer, it's going to be one of the best garments you ever bought, and that's what we're designing here from scratch. So this is terribly exciting to me. I'm not sure whether we'll even go higher than this, or, man, I think we could sample with this. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Callum and Jane and see what they say. So her letter to me, Jane, I'm sorry, I got excited about the samples first. So let's go. She's in Christchurch, New Zealand. Hey John, the samples as promised. Bear in mind that this wool was spun for weaving at quite a tight twist, have no waxing, so it will be possible to get a softer handle, I think, with purpose spun 17 microns. So this must be 17 microns. You'll notice how much coarser it feels the heavier the weight. Yeah. Now that's relatively speaking. This is less coarse than any sweater that you're going to run into otherwise. The finish is also sleeker and denser than if we use a woolen spun thread. Ours is worsted. But the durability would diminish. We want durability. This is a ski sweater. This is to be used in active sports. The other thing is that it's structured, being harder. We're going to be able to get more tailored look with this material than the other ski sweater. All the other ski sweaters droop or whatever else, not these. I hope, however, that amongst these you find a weight that comes close to what you're wanting. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Kind regards, Jane. Crafting, her tagline there is crafting nature's finest fiber. Well, that's why we went to her, because Jane does craft nature's finest fiber. She does have the reputation for being the best, and we are pleased, Jane, that you're working with us. We hope we will strive to getting customers for the wool that you've taken all the time and effort to develop, and then for the sweater fabrics that you and your crew there in New Zealand are working on. So, and one of the reasons I'm doing this is to underscore to other people who may be watching this and starting up businesses, there are people out there that are working on the cutting edge, that are looking for markets for their new ideas, and it is precisely small businesses like yours, startup like yours, that go out there and test in the real world for people like Jane who are developing things. And don't worry about if you know, intellectual property rights or contracts or taking over whatever else. I don't think, now Jane can correct me on this, but I don't think Jane's going to talk to anybody else on sweaters, but she'll be glad to talk to other people on other wool products. Jane's going to work with us on seeing how far we get, and if Callum and I don't get very far, well, Jane will start working with somebody else. So to start out at a small business level and trying to contract people down and lock them down, forget about that. Go find customers first and foremost. Forget about everything else. Don't worry about your suppliers. Don't worry about finance. Don't worry about lawyers. Don't worry about intellectual property rights. Don't worry about anything except, are there people out there who actually buy sweaters and put them in their stores? Are they interested in what you're working on? That's all that matters. And the other thing is I'm not worried about you hearing what I'm doing before you're doing, because A, you'll have to go to somebody else who's not Jamie. That means we'll crush you, because you won't have what's necessary. You won't be able to compete with us. And two, like I said, Callum and I are going to go into the best stores, and we're going to have the best product. We're already so far ahead of you. We're already thinking about what's next, and for you to steal our business, you have to get inside Callum's head and my head to see what we're going to come up with next. Ain't going to happen. So my point is, get out there and actually start the businesses. Don't worry about secrecy and all that kind of thing. Don't worry about contracts, lawyers, intellectual property rights. Worry about, is there a customer for this? Worry about, is this what you want to do? Worry about, what problem do you want to solve? Worry about, do you find joy actually working on this? Do you find joy having on a sunny day, rather than I've got a private beach. I share it with a bunch of other people, a bunch of other homeowners, but I've got a private beach about half a mile away. It's a beautiful sunny day. I had to come outside to do this, but do you prefer to get down, open up the package and get down with your microscope and your letters and whatever else, rather than swimming in the water in the first 78-degree day in Seattle? Well, obviously, I prefer this because I'm here talking now rather than diving off the 180-foot dock into Lake Washington, which, no, this is better. This is actually better. So that's the kind of business you need to find, that which you have a passion, which means to suffer. I suffer because there's no good ski sweaters out there. And then the joy in actually working on it. Beer's really got nothing to do with this process. No, it's 78 degrees, and I'm thirsty as well. I work up a thirst when I work on these things. So, Jane, beautiful work. Love you. Callum, these are on the way to you for you to look at. Jane's in New Zealand. I'm in Seattle. Callum's in Toronto. You don't have to be working with them. Did you know, I read this the other day. What business was it? Oh, Napster. Napster started and sold for whatever it was, $30 million or whatever, I don't know, to real networks at some point. But anyway, Napster started with 3 guys on the internet who never met. Okay, so just find like people as well, partners to work on this as well. So there it is. The point isn't to steal my product, steal Callum and Makkai's product, Makkai. And so, Callum, what's the name of our company? I forget. All I worry about is the name of our customers. It's Makkai and Spiers. Well, I'm going to put it on the Chiron, so don't worry about it. Worry about the passion, the problem you're trying to solve for you. As I said, you can come and try to steal my product. Good luck. I'd love to see you out there. Worry about your product, what you have a passion for. Passion means to suffer. What problems cause you to suffer yourself? For me, it's the ski sweaters aren't right. From there, working on the problem, what gives you joy. So reflect on that. What's the real problem that causes you to suffer? Then go work on those problems, and when you find it, one that gives you joy to work on the solution, that's the combination that makes you unbeatable in business. Look for that. All right, thank you very much. Now, you got to go away because I got more work to do. See you later.